Stories in today's video. 1. IF32, kind of want my boyfriend, M35, to be my dad too. Update, I26F, realized I have a crush on my roommate, 24F. 3. Update, my coworker, 45M, often interjects his opinion on my 27F, soon-to-be wedding. Just the title sounds creepy. Me and my BF have been together for only 6 months but have been friends for about a year longer than that. We only ever hung out with a friend group and did D&D together and stuff, and I fell in love with him without really hanging out at his house or interacting with his kids. I knew he had kids, M7, F12, and he'd talk about them, but I didn't meet him until I was already in love with him. Some background, I came from an abusive household. Both of my parents were emotionally, psychologically abusive and my father was an angry drunk who threw things and punched walls. I've been in therapy for it throughout my life, when I can afford a therapist, yay USA, but am currently not. I've never really hung out around a healthy family with kids in it. I'm estranged from my extended family since cutting off my parents, and most of my friends either don't have kids or they're very small babies. The first time I went over to my boyfriend's house, his kid was acting up and I felt my whole body go tight waiting for him to get angry, aggressive with the child, and he didn't. He was kind and gentle. I was absolutely just. I'd never seen that. The more we spend time together and the more I see him around his 2 kids. I keep having these sort of earth-shaking revelations like, this is what parents are supposed to do. This is what it's supposed to look like. My therapists had explained, verbally, what it's supposed to be like, but that's very different from actually seeing a parent who genuinely loves his kids and treats them well. I love spending time over there because when he is kind and gentle to his kids, I like, passively absorb it, is the only way I can think to explain it. I feel safe and warm and protected in an extremely just, primal way that I never felt in my own house or anything. To be clear, I know what Daddy K*NK, DDLG is, and this isn't it. It's not S***exual at all. I just see the way he takes care of his kids and wish that I could just duck under that umbrella and be cared for like that too. One time he was telling me about the custody battle he went through with his ex-wife, who didn't want him around the kids, and how hard he fought to stay in their life, and I just started crying. He was comforting and I tried to explain that no adult in my life would have ever fought for me like that. I told him, I wish I'd had a dad like you, and he said, I wish you did too. Which was very sweet, but I just worry this isn't something I'm supposed to want from my boyfriend, or feel for him. He knows about my parents and we've talked about it a few times. He gets it because he didn't have a great upbringing either. It's probably not okay to cross wires like that. I believe in communication in relationships, so I probably need to talk to him about it. But how do I tell him so it doesn't come off creepy? There's just so much positivity and warmth and unconditional love in his house and I want to just wrap up in it like a warm blanket. But it's not mine, it's his kids. And I probably shouldn't get the wires crossed like that? I don't know. If I hadn't had to change jobs during COVID, I'd talk to a therapist again, but financially that's just not an option right now. TLDR, raised in an abusive household, now see how my amazing boyfriend loves his kids and I wish he'd take care of me, love me the same way, since nobody ever did. Is that wrong? Do I talk to him about it? Edit. Wow, so many comments. Thank you all for your kind words and advice. I'm definitely Googling a lot of the ideas and books and things everyone mentioned. I didn't expect so many people to relate to this. It's kind of sad and really heartwarming. I was worried I was messed up and that I should shove these feelings away and felt guilty for feeling like that, but a lot of you suggested it's just love. Healthy love, and it's okay to want that. Which feels like it should probably be obvious. I've decided not to make a big deal out of it or have any kind of talk about it, but just keep telling him how much I appreciate him and the things I see in him. Original. My post didn't get a lot of attention, but some people did provide me with really good feedback and this is a happy update. I decided to keep my feelings to myself and understand if it was just my gratitude and learn about myself in that time. I read a few books and I did some introspection. I have always liked girls. In hindsight, it is pretty obvious why I hated seeing my best friend with her boyfriend. Ha. I brushed those feelings aside as just jealousy for how good their relationship was. Teenage me was pretty dumb. I also realized that my roommate was probably as *exual. I have known her for a long time and she has not dated one single person. Never brought a person home. It made me feel hopeless about my feelings for her. I came out to her about a month ago. I had left one of my books laying around and she handed it back to me. I made a bad joke. I ended up explaining that I think I am bi. It was pretty awkward. She told me she was into girls but she thinks she is a demisexual and it takes her lot to form the emotional bond needed to be ready to have sex. I probably made a mess of the conversation. I thought there was no way she would for such bond with me. She ended up asking me out while we were cooking dinner last week. I was pretty surprised honestly. It is scary and a bit awkward moving from being roommates to girlfriend. Scary as hell, but even with all the uncertainty about if we could work, I feel incredibly comfortable around her. I can be myself and I know she won't judge me and she loves it. TLDR, I came out. She asked me out. Asked me out. Asked me out. Original hello, thank you all for the comments. I know it's been almost 2 weeks since my last post. Some of y'all offered some great advice, again, thank you. So here's what happened since my last post. I went back to work the next day and Jack was off. It was blissful. I didn't see him the rest of the week because he went back to Montana to see some family. I only knew his whereabouts because another coworker felt the need to inform me. Anyway, Jack gets back that weekend and on Monday he runs into me as we clock in. Immediately he begins to describe Montana. His sister was getting married in a small wedding. The colors. The flowers. I express my congratulations to his sister and start heading to my department. We don't see each other until lunch break. I'm sitting down enjoying my leftovers when Jack comes over and starts in on what he has in mind for my wedding, even so far as mentioning price brackets. I put up my hand and tell him to stop. I tell him that my fiancé and I are doing a courthouse wedding. It may not be romantic in his eyes, but it's what we want to do and what we are looking forward to doing. I also told him that he needs to drop the subject as we are not changing our minds. He starts apologizing and saying that he didn't realize that I was serious about the courthouse. I just shook my head and told Jack again to stop talking about it before I walked away from him. Yesterday I heard from another coworker that Jack was upset and didn't mean to cross lines with me. At this point I don't care. I said my piece and am super happy that I stood my ground. I will keep doing this too because it feels good to not be a doormat. I should have done this sooner. Thank you again. **TLDR***. Jack went on vacation, came back, and started his usual spiel.